Hello and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. And I'm not alone today. Today I'm joined by a good friend of mine who's a big Eagles fan. He might not be smiling right now, but we know we'll discuss about his team later in the show. He's also the host of Eagle Eye Football, and that's Rich and Ponsal. Rich, how are you doing, sir?
On the personal front, I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, my club's a mess. We're rubbish. We're bad.
You could be in worse situations to be fair. There's other teams that are really struggling. I won't say no names, but yeah, there are some other teams that are struggling as well. But we can definitely discuss that actually. Let's begin with that actually. So I think the last time we spoke on air, I was a guest on your channel, and I think life was good as a Palace fan, where you had Patrick Vieira as your manager, and people could see the vision in terms of how he was shaping up the team. But due to a lack of wins, and I think it was a tough fixture list that he encountered, he was given the boot. I remember speaking to you afterwards, after the sacking. Since then, Roy Hodgson was appointed as Crystal Palace manager, and he also kept the club in the Premier League last season. So let's slightly backtrack. What did you make of the sacking? Did you understand from the club's point of view?
Yeah.
And looking back at it 9 months later, do you think it was the right decision to sack Patrick Vieira?
Yeah. So with Vieira, it was kind of like I could see both sides.
Yeah.
Like you can tell the players weren't happy with the training methods. I think he was doing 6 days a week.
Whoa. Okay.
Which is a bit mad, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the players got to have some downtime, you know what I mean? And then he was playing players out of position. So there's certain things he was doing that was just like it was a bit off. But then on the flip side, like you said, that fixture running he had was crazy. Yeah. And when you actually look at that running, minus the Spurs game, I think we lost the games that we lost by 1 goal.
Yeah.
You know? So it was a case where, you know, I could understand at the time it was free fall. It's like, oh my gosh, this is really worrying. So I can understand why they made a change. But then obviously the argument is, could he probably would have kept us safe anyway, you know. Roy comes in and he just allows the players to express themselves. And for me, it was a breath of fresh air. That was a fair play because Roy's normally defense-minded, which we'll get onto.
Yeah.
But he did allow the players to, like I said, just express themselves, you know, and we were cooking. But granted, we were playing the teams that were in and around us or beneath us in the league, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this season. First things first, like our board is a joke. Our board is a joke. It looks from the outside looking in that one owner wants to spend, but can't have more. Like he wants to have like full control, like they say in the club. But obviously, our main owner, he's a bit more cautious with expenditure and whatnot. Because obviously we're building this new stand, which is, I think we still need another 45 million for that now. So it's just not looking good at the minute. Like from top to bottom, like we're a mess.
Yeah. In terms of the campaign so far on the pitch, what have you made of the team so far this season? I know in terms of the league, you're not in the sort of best position in the league. You're currently 14th with 4 wins, 4 draws, and 7 losses. And I believe we've only won 1 game at home, and that was against Wolves at Selhurst Park. So normally Selhurst Park is like a fortress where it's not the place that you want to play Palace against, due to the fact that the crowd is quite close to the pitch, very noisy atmosphere. What do you think has gone wrong this season, or do you just feel like the players haven't stepped up to the plate?
There's a number of factors. Number one, like I said, the board. We didn't spend enough money. We lost Wilf.
Big loss.
Big loss. We brought obviously Matthias Francer in, young kid. He was always going to take time, but it's not even like he's been given any sort of chance. I think he's had 40 minutes in total.
He was injured in the beginning of the season, wasn't he?
He was injured to start off with, obviously, Elise started off the campaign injured. He's only just come back.
Yeah.
And the moment we actually finally get Elise and Eze back on the pitch, that lasts 45 minutes. Because Eze picked up his second injury of the season because he was out for a month previously with a hamstring injury, and now he's done his ankle, which is probably keeping up to a month. So injuries have not been in our favour. Check the Corey is another one that's been out injured. So that's one issue we faced. But the biggest issue, the biggest concern for me personally, is that Roy Hodgson's gone back to type. So where we were that free-flowing, just go and express yourself sort of team towards the back end of last season, now we're like, all out of defence, and you know what, we'll take a point. Now, granted, our away form's been decent. Now, not as the way we've been playing, but we've picked up loads of points away from home. You know, our home form has been dreadful. You know, and this is against teams that we should be beating. I'm sorry. Yeah. If you're playing at home to Forest, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, and not winning any of those games, personally, he should be gone. But I think our owner's a coward. He's not going to do
it. How long is his contract? Is it until the end of the season, or has it not been announced?
Just to the end of the season, yeah. But
just until the end of the season, okay.
Getting rid of him.
Do you think he'll get an extension?
I don't know, definitely not. The plan was him to just kind of stabilize us again this year. Steady the ship, and then next season get a fingers crossed about progressive manager. But I think he needs to go now.
Oh, you say you wouldn't even wait until the end of the season?
No.
He needs to go. Interesting. So
because you know what it is? It's not even like we're showing any sort of fight in any of the games. I generally cannot tell you a game that I would say that we've dominated this season. I'm not saying that we haven't won games, because we have.
Yeah.
But we've not dominated, and especially some of the teams I've told you about at home. It's been dreadful.
Yeah. Like, you're not expected to win all the games, but it's probably just the manner of how your team's performing, where
it's a
the fight there. And I know Zaha was always going to be a big loss, but obviously you signed Francois, who, like you say, young player, didn't really get off to the best start in terms of his injury. You've got players that I think IU's playing there predominantly, isn't he, on the left-hand side? So you're having to makeshift a lot of the team. So yeah, that is definitely understandable from the fans' point of view, that the club really haven't invested or replaced him in the right manner. But yeah, it seems like it's a bit of a frustrating time for Palace. Just got a couple of comments there. So the Mankushina, the time is now, and we've got Keith Adam, who says big up Ozzie, and just another comment here from Anfield Uncle Ross, big up Ozzie and Rich, and the chat. Big up yourself, Uncle Ross.
I'll go for this all again tomorrow.
Yeah, Uncle Ross. He's a great. Yeah, everyone, make sure you subscribe to Uncle Ross as well. Doing some great content in his channel. Big support.
I'm really going through it with you Liverpool fans. You know, I'm going through it.
I can tell by your face. I watched you on your channel earlier on. Your smiles at the beginning, and then I log on and I'll say hello to you, and your face is down. So it's not looking good so far. Let me ask you a big question, though. So hypothetically, let's say, Palace get a couple bad results and the board actually, make that huge step and dismiss Hodgson from his duties. Who would you like to see come in as Crystal Palace manager? Because in the past, you've had Frank de Boer to try a different style of manager. That didn't work out. Then you have Patrick Vieira, where you could kind of see the vision. I feel like you guys were playing good football under Vieira, but then you said with injuries, there was, I think, players out of position. So the cohesion within the team wasn't really there. So who would you like to see as the next Palace manager? Or who's a realistic target in your eyes?
So there's a difference between the two questions. You see it? You said, who would I like to see and who's realistic? Right.
That's
okay.
Right.
Let me try and break this down for you. So personally, any one of Graham Potter, Paulo Fonseca, Marco Reus, I believe is not Reus, Michael Rose. I can't remember.
Is that the Dortmund one?
Ex-Dortmund one, yeah.
Ex-Dortmund one, yeah. Yeah. He's a Leipzig manager, isn't he, right now?
I don't know where he is right now, but listen, sometimes money talks. Adi Huta. I really wanted Adi Huta in the summer, but he's gone to Monaco. He's doing all right with them.
Okay.
And Kieran McKenna. I think that's the one we should go all out for.
Okay.
But even though Ipswich, I think, will get promoted, Like just
they're doing well.
test his will. Like just say, listen, Kieran, London side, you know what I mean? Those are the 5.
Yeah.
Here's who I think we're going to be looking at: Steve Cooper.
Okay.
Because obviously he's on the verge of getting sacked, and every time his name pops up, it's actually frustrating.
Okay.
Paddy McCarthy, who's our current first team coach, to take over.
Okay.
And the last one, I think it might be Gareth Southgate.
Oh, okay.
He's ending England, and I don't want him either.
The Southgate one kind of makes sense though, because
it's written.
Believe his contract finishes, right?
Yeah, contract finishes. Ex-Palace. He opened up our academy.
Oh shit! Signs on the wall right there. You'll be playing 3-5-2 before you know it. So yeah, that's a bit.
We'll be signing Harry Maguire.
Yeah, you definitely will. Luke Shaw, bring the band together, I guess, in that regards. But yeah, that's interesting names. Yeah, Southgate one, I can't lie. That feels like it could be him, you know. I'm not going to lie. Especially if Hodgson stays until end of the season. It's just like the transition's right there, isn't it? You've got someone available, high profile to an extent as well. So like that should appease the fans, but clearly you are not satisfied with that selection as well. But we can discuss that in due time. But yeah, it's an interesting one, to be fair. Got a couple comments here. So Madison Smith says, are the 3 relegation sides already set? So currently in the league, it's Luton, Burnley, Sheffield. No, I don't think it as well. Who would you say are?
I think Nottingham Forest are in big bother. And listen, we're not too far off it as well. So I'm not trying to say no prideful way. Like our next 6 games are crazy. Like we can get dragged into this as well. But I think Luton will survive. I think their home form's just it's good enough to do it.
Yeah, it's been so surprising because before the Liverpool result, you just couldn't see them getting a point anywhere. Yeah. And then that draw, I feel like it's just revolutionized the whole team, the club, the fans. And then Arsenal, obviously, almost got the point against Arsenal, but Arsenal scored last minute.
They beat us as well.
Beat you there as well. I think they drew to Spurs as well there, didn't they? So
no, they lost 1-0, but that was close.
But they lose 1-0. Oh, okay. So it's not an easy ground to get points there at all. That's interesting, actually. I think in terms of Sheffield United, I know we faced them midweek. Everyone was thinking, it's going to be that new manager bounce. That wasn't the case at all. I don't think they're going to improve drastically. I think they'll show a bit more fight than what they have recently, but I think they'll be thereabouts. Burnley, for me, I actually predict them to be a bit higher in the league, but I think the way they play in the Championship is just completely different to the level in the Premier League. So I've been right in terms of Forest. I think Everton as well. Everton I've been quite impressed with because they've actually picked up some good form. Despite being deducted 10 points, they have 10 points right now. So they're actually not doing that bad at all. So now in terms of the relegation, it's definitely an interesting one. Uncle Rod says, no mercy, Rich. So can't help you there, Rich.
Do you want me to turn up to run? I'm joking.
Uncle Rod says, smash the like, guys. Yes, please do smash the likes.
Yeah, sure, guys.
So as I was saying, in terms of the team, Zaha obviously is a big blow that we've highlighted earlier in the show. Signed Fansa, who hasn't had much game time in terms of, I think he's been injured early on and he hasn't really played much. So in your team right now, who have you been impressed with so far? And who's surprised you as well at the same time?
Lerma's been the player that I've been not saying that more so he's been the one that I've been impressed with. He's been brilliant. Got him on a free transfer.
Yeah,
he's just slotted him and Decore form such a good partnership. It's such a shame Decore is injured.
Yeah,
because you know what, the dream was to be able to see Decore and Lerma, Eze in the 10,
number 10,
Alicia on the right, France on the left, and maybe Eddie up top. That was a dream to see. When we're not going to be able to see it. Decore is actually out for the whole season. He done
Achilles injury, isn't it? Yeah, he's up to his Achilles. So that's very, very unfortunate.
Surprised with so I would say Jez Raksaki. but then he got injured as well. Because when he did come on, he's played pretty decent.
Yeah.
The only other surprise, I guess, Mitchell coming back into form because he did have a bit of a slump.
Yeah, I think especially last season after he got selected, I think for England, he kind of had a little drop off, isn't it? So yeah, he's definitely recaptured his form. So yeah, that's definitely the case. So let's switch over to Liverpool. So my team, we've not had a bad season so far. We've played 15, won 10, drawn 4, and lost 1. Beat Sheffield United, as I mentioned earlier on, to avoid that manager bounce. Currently second in the league with 2 points behind Arsenal. This will be our 4th 12:30 kickoff so far this season, which is an absolute joke if you ask me. But Klopp certainly didn't find that funny when he had that post-match interview the other day on Amazon Prime. But what can you do? It's against a tricky opposition and playing away from home in South London. So, Rich, from the outside, what have you made of Liverpool's progress so far this season? Would you regard them as title contenders, or is it still a bit too early to say that?
I would, but it's the manner in which you're title contenders, because for me, you've just gone under the radar. Yeah. You know, everyone's looking at City and Arsenal, but most importantly, prior to their recent downfall, a lot of eyes were on Spurs. Yeah. You know, so Liverpool were just like, all right, cool. We're just going to do what we do. Yeah. You know, and I thought, I don't know, you're not that far off the top of the table anyway, you know?
No, we're second 2 points away, so yeah, not too bad. I think because of the rebuild, I feel like people just didn't expect the team to gel so soon in terms of the 4 midfielders. I think the Spurs element was a surprise for everyone because you had Ange, who came from Celtic, didn't really know if his philosophy would be sort of emulated in the Premier League, but obviously he's been a breath of fresh air in terms of playing good attacking football. And Arsenal were always going to be strong contenders. I still don't know why they've signed Havertz, but that's just my opinion. I just don't know where he fits in that team. Declan Rice has been a game changer. Phenomenal signing for them. Really, really good signing for them. I feel like I think last year's title challenge is only going to improve that team going forward because now they've gained experience as well. So that's what I think they're missing. Young squad didn't really have that experience. But Liverpool, yeah, we're under the radar. And to be fair, I don't mind it. Where, you know, we can be regarded as the dark horse or underdogs, however you want to label us. We're just going to go take it one game at a time and see how our season pans out. So, yeah, it's looking good for Liverpool. This game always a tricky encounter, to say the least. So what we'll do now, we will predict the lineups and discuss the tactics. Actually, do you know what? Let me announce some team news as well, so we can kind of know who's available for both teams, and then we can shape our team accordingly. So I think we already highlighted on some of the players earlier on. So for Palace, Mitchell is unavailable due to an injury. Doucouré, unfortunately, is out for possibly the rest of the season after rupturing his Achilles. So hopefully he makes a speedy recovery because that's a tough injury to take. And you've got other absentees in Raksaki, Rob Holding, Dean Henderson, and Eze, who is going to be a big, big loss. In terms of Liverpool, Thiago, Bajtic, and Robertson are out with long-term injuries, so nothing that Liverpool fans don't know. We've now discovered the extent of Joe Matip's injury, and unfortunately, it's not a good one. He's suffered the ACL tear, and that will keep him out for 7 months, which is a cruel ending to the rest of his season. He's also out of contract in July, so that appearance against Fulham could be his last one for Liverpool. So people always accuse Klopp of being too sentimental in terms of with his players. Will he offer him an extension to kind of rehabilitate? I don't know. It remains to be seen. In terms of other news, Jota and Alisson are still out, but should be in contention in a couple of weeks. McAllister suffered a nasty injury against Sheffield United, so he'll most likely miss this game. So just got a comment here from Madison Smith. He says, is a centre-back a must for Liverpool in January with Matip out? So that's actually an interesting question. A lot of fans will say, yep, let's invest, let's sign a centre-back right away. It will depend on who they have in mind in terms of their target, because the last couple of January windows, I don't think the club were planning on signing any players, but there was interest in Luis Diaz from Tottenham, so we pretty much hijacked that deal and got that done a few months early. And then last year, it's the same with Gakpo. United was showing interest, so we made sure we got that one over the line. So it could be the same thing where if one of our targets is showing interest from other clubs, we might come in. I feel like we might wait until the end of the season and recruit in the summer. We've got the emergence of a young centre-back in Jarrell Kwanzaa, who's done really well so far this season. So we still have the numbers to accommodate that centre-back area, but remains to be seen. At this stage, very hard to predict where Liverpool will sign a player in January or not. So what I'll do now, I'll share a graphic with you guys to predict the lineup, and we can discuss the tactics and who will be the danger men in this game. So we'll start with the home team. So we'll start with Palace, and then we can chop it up. So firstly, Rich, what would be the formation that you guys will go for?
We've been playing 4-3-3.
Yeah.
I would say with 2 DMs. Always, it's kind of fluid, to be honest. But 4-3-3. Okay. I'm predicting, not to tell you for this, but I think we might even play 5 at the back.
Saturday. 5 at the back.
But put it a 4-3-3 for the meantime, because that's
4-3-3.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So in goal, safe to say will be Johnston in goal.
Yeah, it's the only option.
And then back 4. So no Mitchell. Who would you play at left back?
I don't see. This is where it gets tricky because I don't know. Is it who I would like or who Roy might play? Sorry.
I would say who you'd want to start in this game.
Okay.
So it's down to your decision.
I would put Chris Richards left back.
Chris Richards left back. Okay. Has he played in that role before? I know he's played right back before. Has he played left back?
Not really, but
not really.
You can't have Ward and Klein. We can't. Because Ward's going to be playing right back.
Wouldn't Klein make more sense in terms of tactically being a right-footed player up against Salah, who's left-footed, stop him from cutting in, or do you not think that will work?
Klein as a left-back.
Okay. Fair enough. And who would be your right-back?
It'd have to be Joe Ward. Got no one else.
Fair enough. And the centre-back pairing is pretty much Anderson and
Gay.
Yeah. And Gay, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
So they've definitely been stand up, especially Anderson. And to be fair, even Gay, to be fair, are you concerned about Gay going forward? Because there's a lot of interest.
He'll be gone soon. He'll be gone. Like, we can't stop him from progressing. He's been brilliant for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Anderson. Is that how you spell Anderson? Or am I spelling it wrong?
Dersen.
Sen. Okay. There you go. Brilliant. And then midfield, who do you see the heart of your midfield?
So in the middle will be Lerma.
In the middle will be Lerma. Okay.
Actually, no, sorry, let me change that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because this is what I want. I would prefer, so put Lerma in the middle.
Yep.
Put Schlupp to the left of him.
Interesting. Okay.
This is only because of who we have available. And to the right of him, put Hamada. But he's not going to start. I guarantee you, it'll be Will Hughes.
Has he played much this season?
Just off the bench.
Just off the bench.
Right, yeah.
What does it fancy him?
He doesn't seem to fancy any of the young players. The front 3 picks itself. Elise on the right, Edward in the middle, and Ayew on the left.
Elise. Wow, that Elise goal the other day was spectacular. What a goal that was. Edward. Okay, so that would be 4-3-3. What would you say is? Do you think this would be like a static formation, or do you see players changing shape during the game through transitions? No.
The only change is that Lerma might tuck in to make the third centre back, or
if required. Okay,
it's going to be defensive. We are not going to be expensive at all.
No, that is a shame. Yeah, because I think in terms of your selection, I can see why you selected the players here. Solid and compact in the midfield, provide protection for the back four, and up top you've got hardworking playing Ayew, Edouard as well. He's picked up a bit of form. What do you make of his form so far this season?
So he's a weird one. It's like he scored 6 goals. Like it's a credible 6 goals in 13 games. Complain.
Yeah.
But like sometimes I don't think he works hard enough. But he's not the type of striker that will press. He likes the ball to feet where he can turn and drive up players. But we never give him the ball. We rarely give him the ball in that position to do so. So it's difficult. I just don't think he fits our style of play, especially when we don't have like Ozzie there.
Yeah. Eze is definitely that creative spark in the final third.
Yeah,
Madison Smith asked me about Liverpool in January. I think I know the answer, but I feel like I still ask. Do you see Palace doing any business in the January window, signing a striker?
Well, no? We talked about getting loans and stuff, but we have like such a broke club. It's embarrassing.
It's a shame. Can I ask a question? So with Palace, I think it's quite renowned that the youth academy is always, I think it's always been one of the top ones, especially in London, for example, where there's so much talent in South London. Why do you think there hasn't been that many young players breaking through into the first team? Because you've had the likes of Zaha and
you have Roy Hodgson as manager.
So if he's out of the picture, do you think there'll be more players given an opportunity?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a shame though, because I feel like there's so many young players that could literally just do the business for Palace. And, you know, that is probably the model that you guys should be going with, where promote your youngsters rather than splashing out on. It's always like you sell a player and then you bring them back like a year later or 2 years later.
Literally.
So it's like bring the band back all over again. But okay, so this is an interesting tactic. In terms of what I had written down, I had a slightly different setup. So I'll present you what I had for Palace in mind, and then you can tell me your thoughts. So I know Richards played midfield the other way, didn't he? Alongside Lerma. So I'm thinking Roy Hodgson might stick with that. So you've got Lerma there, Richards there. So I think you'll go for a 4-2-3-1 due to the fact that 2 of our number 8s are normally a bit more advanced. So I feel like having a double pivot will try and block their path or stop them from having any influence in the game. So that's just my sort of viewpoint in terms of where they are. You're not going to like this one, but I think Klein might be the guy that plays left back.
He is. Remember, that's why I asked you, is it the team I want to see? What you're doing right now is exactly what he's going to do.
Okay, fair enough.
This will be the team on Saturday.
This will be the team. And then who would you play number 10?
If Schlupp will play 10, and if it's not Richards, it'll be Will Hughes.
Will Hughes. Oh, yeah, Will Hughes is still around. Okay. So, yeah, this is what I kind of envision in terms of how the team will be. Just got a comment here from Liverpool 12th Man. He says, big up Ozzie and your Crystal Palace guest. That's Rich from Eagle Eye Football. Thank you for tuning in, Liverpool 12th Man. So what I'll do now, I'll present the tactics for Liverpool, and then I can sort of explain or give you my point of view in terms of how I see us shaping up against you guys. So let me share the graphics, and then we can discuss in more detail. So in terms of our formation, it's pretty much the same thing every week. 4-3-3, no difference. The only thing is that we changed the shape of our team in transitions. So we'll start with the goalkeeper. So Alisson, as I mentioned earlier, is not available for this fixture. So it will still be Kelleher in goal, who I've been quite critical of in the last few weeks, but had a decent game against Sheffield United. So a good, I guess, a player that's in form now. So hopefully he maintains that. Back four will be Simicas, and then Virgil van Dijk, who I know Rich likes to call Van Disney, but hopefully that agenda is out of the window now.
He's been good this season.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say he's back to his best. I just feel like he's adapted his game now, where he knows he doesn't have that burst of speed for like recovery or making challenges. So he's a bit more calculated in terms of how he makes tackles. So, but yeah, you got to step up. I feel like when you get to that age anyway, you do have to evolve and adapt your skill set anyway. And I feel like he's doing that really well. So that's the back four. So Trent right back. Obviously, he won't predominantly play right back, but I do see him starting that role in terms of the starting position. Midfield, I'm going to go for Endo. I was very impressed with his performance against Sheffield United the other day. I feel like he controlled the game really well and made some good passes around the pitch. So I feel like he definitely deserves to stay in the team. No McAllister. Curtis Jones made a cameo. I wasn't impressed with how he performed. So I'm going to go with Gravenberch on this side. And then I'm going to go for Szoboszlai, who scored a great goal the other day as well. And then up top, so goes without saying, Salah. And then we'll have Diaz on the left. And I think Darwin Núñez will get the nod to start in this game. Now, looking at that formation, Rich, does that worry you in terms of what the outcome could be?
Listen, you could have had Keller up top. We ain't scoring anyway.
Fair enough. In terms of the shape, so as you can see, it's 4-3-3, but I think we will be playing that inverted role. Yeah. So you'll see Gravenberch and Szoboszlai being advanced 8, which is why I predicted that Roy Hodgson might go for a 4-2-3-1, playing a double pivot to try and stop these two from having any influence. They're both ball carriers. Szoboszlai has a fantastic shot from long distance as well. So that could be an area that they're trying to stop. And you have Trent on this side, roaming around, in my opinion. Then you have Szoboszlai covering his ground on that side. And then you have, if it was Gakpo, he would have dropped deep and be the extra man. But I feel like he's going to play up top. And these guys are going to provide the width. So whoever the fullbacks are, we know it could be Klein or it could be Richards on that side. So Salah, for me, needs to go at them from the first minute, cause trouble, try and get some early goals. Diaz, for me, I remember he scored a spectacular goal against you guys last season. So hopefully that's a good omen going into this game. And he'll have some influence, probably attacking more on this side, but being more of the winger on this side, providing width and then trying to cut in some passes. Núñez, his job is to cause chaos, and hopefully he can keep his composure in front of goal. He's been a bit erratic at times, but I feel like, what do you make of Núñez actually? Because Liverpool fans, as you probably see online, they love him. Some people still, it's a bit mixed. I think you either love him or hate him. What do you make of him as a player?
No, it's a good player. It's a good player. Very dangerous, very direct.
Yeah.
He'll find his feet again, I'm sure. And obviously he had the terrible event with his father. So he'll be fine. He'll come good again.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of score predictions, Rich, what are you going for?
3-0 Liverpool.
I love the honesty. I'm actually going for a bit more of a modest scoreline. I'm actually going for 2-0. I don't think it'll be a walk in the park. I feel like whenever we play Palace, especially a Roy Hodgson team, it's difficult to break them down. They tend to play the low block. Richards predicted them to play a back 5, which could be a possibility as well. So I'm going for 2-0. I'm going for Szoboszlai and Mo Salah as the 2 goal scorers. So yeah, that's my prediction there. And that's the end of the show, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Rich, as always, big thank you for coming on to the show. Please let the people know where to follow you in terms of your socials and where to reach out in terms of your channel as well.
I appreciate yours as always, man. Seriously. And I would say all the best for the game, but I don't even think you even need that. But you can find me on Eagle Eye Football on YouTube. We are a Crystal Palace fan channel. We'll even have fan cams after the game at Sellers Park. So if you want to go and see us probably moaning about another defeat, make sure to find us there. And then on Twitter at Eagle Eye Ball, Instagram, just type in Eagle Eye Football, you'll find us, even though we don't use that as much. But I appreciate the invite again. And just take it easy on us on Saturday, please.
We'll try our best. I might drive by and see if I see you around Soho's Park because I live around the corner. So give you a little wave as I drive around. But yeah, guys, make sure to subscribe to Eagle Eye Football. I've tagged them in the description. They are a Crystal Palace channel, but Rich also does Premier League content as well. So they're doing some great shows during the week. I saw you did like a rap battle episode as well. So,
that was hilarious.
I watched all of it yet. But guys, you have to just subscribe to the channel. It's not just Crystal Palace. They're doing all types of content. So yeah, it's definitely worth the subscription. And then yeah, you'll definitely be entertained. And then that's for sure. So as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very soon. Goodbye.